Welcome to American History Mysteries. My name is Kira Tomchek, and this week we will be discussing the unsolved murder case of the Black Dahlia, also known as Elizabeth Short. This case has been in the public eye for decades, and to this day of 2018, the murder mystery continues to remain unsolved. The victim of this tragic case is Elizabeth Short, who was born in Boston, Massachusetts on July 29, 1924. Elizabeth was the third child out of 5 daughters to her parents, Cleo and Phoebe May Short. Elizabeth's father, Cleo, abandoned their family when she was just 5 years old. Elizabeth had aspired to be an actress since she was just a child. She wanted to become famous enough to support her family. It wasn't until 1946 when Elizabeth moved across the country to Los Angeles in order to chase her dream. She then worked as a waitress to support her acting career. However, this 22-year-old dream was cut short when she was tragically murdered on January 15, 1947. Her mutilated body was found in a vacant lot near LeMaire Park, near the 3800th block of South Norton Avenue. Elizabeth's body had been cut in half, and the killer had actually drained her corpse of blood and had scrubbed it clean. The killer engraved 3-inch gashes into the corners of Elizabeth's mouth, which created an eerie clown-esque smile. Elizabeth's body had also been surgically modified so that there was no trauma to any internal organs. There was no blood on the ground at the crime scene either, which led investigators to believe that the murderer killed Elizabeth at a different location and had dumped her body at the park. The woman who found Elizabeth's body was Betty Bersinger. Betty said that when she first saw Elizabeth's body, she had mistaken it for a mannequin due to how pale her corpse was. This mysterious case gets even weirder 9 days after Elizabeth's body was found. It was then that the examiner of the case received a letter made out of clips from media ads, magazines, and newspapers. The letter read, "Los Angeles Examiner and other Los Angeles papers. Here is Dahlia's belongings. Letter to follow." Along with this bizarre letter was Elizabeth Short's birth certificate, social security card, photos, and even an address book. Gasoline had been poured on these documents to remove any fingerprints that may have been on them. Besides that instance, more notes and letters were sent to the press, with one stating, "Here it is, turning in Wednesday, January 29th, 10 a.m., and had my fun with police," signed by someone who referred to themselves as the Black Dahlia Avenger. All these unusual letters and notes made investigators puzzled. The investigators also had a hard time determining where Elizabeth had last been seen alive. Some accounts say that Elizabeth was last seen at the Biltmore Hotel in downtown Los Angeles with a man named Robert Manley. Manley had helped the aspiring actress by driving her to LA and helping her check into the Biltmore Hotel. However, after Manley left, he went to the Crown Grill bar nearby, which is now known as Club Galaxy. There are also accounts that say the Crown Grill bar is where Elizabeth was last seen before her death. Despite these contrasting claims, it is now rumored that the Biltmore Hotel is haunted by Elizabeth Short. Guests at the hotel claim to have seen an apparition of herself on the 1st floor, 10th floor, and 11th floor as well. Her ghost is rumored to be seen wearing a black dress, and once noticed, disappears into a nearby wall. Now that's some spooky stuff. Coming up next, we'll discuss the suspects related to the Black Dahlia case and who may be responsible for Elizabeth Short's death. Stay tuned to American History Mysteries. We'll be right back after the break.
At the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, we're passionate about learning. Our talented faculty members blend teaching with research, creating hands-on learning experiences for students. Warhawk pride thrives at UW-Whitewater, where student-athletes excel on the field and in the classroom, where diversity is celebrated. A tradition of excellence 140 years in the making. Find your passion here.
Welcome to Jitters Coffee Lounge. Located on the 1st floor of the Wells Complex, Jitters is a student-ran, volunteer-based coffee lounge, open nightly from 8 p.m. to midnight. Jitters Coffee Lounge is home to classic hot and frozen drinks, with our favorite, the Oreogasm. Jitters offers live music, karaoke, and comedy events featuring both local and guest talents. For more information, visit our website at uwwjitters.org. Jitters Coffee Lounge will keep you up all night.
The James R. Conner University Center on UW-Whitewater's campus is a gathering place for students of various cultures, backgrounds, and lifestyles. The UC is a great source for information, campus tickets, meetings, entertainment, food, gallery exhibits, workshops, and all of your hot card needs. Whether you're looking for a place to study between classes or just a place to hang out with friends, the UC is the place for you. For more information on the UC, please visit uc.uww.edu or go to facebook.com/uc.uww.
Welcome back to American History Mysteries. My name is Kira Tomchek, and today we are talking about the infamous unsolved murder case of the Black Dahlia, also known as Elizabeth Short. Now let's get into the suspects of this gruesome murder, who they might be. The first suspect on our radar is Robert Manley, the man who helped Elizabeth Short move to LA. As previously stated, Manley helped Elizabeth check into the Biltmore Hotel, and then left the scene. He had returned to San Diego, however, before her death, and Manley even passed a lie detector polygraph test and was no longer a suspect in the law enforcement's eyes. During the investigation, law enforcement had Manley take sodium pentothal, which is known to be a truth serum that makes people more honest. With sodium pentothal in his system, Manley still passes innocent. However, despite there being no evidence against Manley, theorists still question his mental stability since he was committed to a mental hospital because he claimed he had heard voices. The second suspect we'll be looking into is Army veteran Joseph Demise. Demise claimed that he and Elizabeth had been blackout drunk in San Francisco only a couple days before her body was discovered. Only a few weeks after the murder, Demise confessed to the killing. His confession was 50 pages long and claimed Demise had had a mental blackout after dating Elizabeth Short. This mental blackout lasted several days, according to Demise, and he claimed that that was when he killed Elizabeth. Although the confession seems plausible, an alibi revealed his lies when they told police that Demise was at his New Jersey military base during the time of the murder, meaning he couldn't have killed the Black Dahlia. A few years later, after this false confession, Demise also claimed to have married Elizabeth Short in 1937, which there are no records of the sort. Now, our last suspect is the most believable in my opinion, Dr. George Hodel. Dr. George Hodel was a renowned surgeon in Los Angeles and had many kids, 11 to be exact, from 5 different women. One of the children explained that in their house, Hodel would refuse the kids from entering a certain secret room. That secret room only added to the suspicion that Hodel had something to hide. Hodel's son, Steve, was only 5 at the time of Elizabeth Short's death, but quickly became interested in the case. Steve Hodel worked as a police investigator from 1969 to 1986 for the Los Angeles Police Department, or LAPD, and when he retired, he had a lot to say. Steve was convinced that his own father, Dr. George Hodel, was in fact the murderer of the Black Dahlia. Steve argued that his father was an intelligent doctor who ran the LA County's venereal disease clinic and was capable of intense surgical mutilation that occurred on Elizabeth Short's body. Steve even found pictures of a woman who looked exactly like Elizabeth in one of his dad's photo albums. A forensic artist examined the photos and came to the conclusion that there was an 85% chance it was not Elizabeth. However, in 2014, a different expert used facial recognition technology on the photos, and it resulted in a 90 to 95% match. Steve also compared handwriting samples of his father to the letters the press received from the suspected killer, which were extremely similar. However, experts concluded that the handwriting results were mixed and inconclusive. And in 2013, the San Bernardino Sun reported on a new, more detailed investigation of the case conducted by a retired police sergeant, Paul Dostie. With the help of Paul, his police dog, Buster, detected the smell of decomposing flesh in several different areas of Hodel's basement. Dr. George Hodel was also accused of sexually assaulting one of his daughters, but was ultimately found not guilty. This molestation case caused the LAPD to include Hodel as a possible suspect for the Black Dahlia murder. It was then that the LAPD put Hodel under surveillance from February 18, 1950 to March 27, 1950. For over a month, there were 2 microphones installed in Hodel's home that were closely monitored by 18 different detectives. The recordings of Hodel were what really set the case on fire. On February 19, 1950, at 8:25 p.m., Hodel was recorded talking with his confidant and said, "Realized that there was nothing I could do. Put a pillow over her head and cover her with a blanket. Get a taxi. Expired at 12:59. They thought there was something fishy. Anyway, now they may have figured it out. Killed her." Hodel was later found saying, "Supposing I did kill the Black Dahlia, they couldn't prove it now. They can't talk to my secretary because she's dead," in which Hodel was referring to Ruth Spaulding, his former secretary, who had recently died from a drug overdose. It was later revealed that Hodel was present when Spaulding died, and he burnt some of her belongings before the police were even called. Investigators soon discovered that Spaulding had been planning on blackmailing Hodel because she knew that he was intentionally misdiagnosing his patients and billing them for laboratory tests, medical treatments, and even unneeded prescriptions. With all of Dr. George Hodel's ethical decisions in question, the LAPD then retrieved a photo of a naked Elizabeth Short along with another nude photo of a model named Maddie Comfort from Hodel's belongings. Although there is quite a bit of evidence that points to George Hodel's having killed Elizabeth Short, we'll never know because Hodel passed away in 1999. But after his death in 2003, Hodel's son Steve published a book entitled Black Dahlia Avenger, A Genius for Murder. In it, Steve Hodel explains the evidence indicating his father as the murderer in this ongoing case. That's it for this week's American History Mysteries. My name is Kira Tomczak, and I'll see you next time right back here on UWW-TV.